and a good morning so far. As I mentioned to you yesterday, we're going to conclude the day about noon. Tomorrow we'll come in 10:30 through the end of the day. I know Friday one of you has something that you're committed to. Just remind the deputy Friday, and we'll make sure to leave here by 4:30 so you can attend to that. Beyond that, continue to let me know when you need a break. Where we last left off the fence, we were at your cross.
CSI, who you say was very competent, measured the width of that patio was 6 feet.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I understand you did not give the CSI any directions to measure the screen. And we know that the screen wasn't measured. We know that no distance was measured from the screen to the wall or from any corner to the patio rail. But if I were to suggest to you that the width of the screen is probably 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet, would you agree?
Yes, sir.
All right. So since we can agree that the width of the screen was approximately 2 to 2.5 feet, if I approach the diagram,
Yes.
would you agree with me that the distance from this corner to the patio rail is equal to or greater than 1 foot?
I would say about a foot, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, would you agree, using your estimate, that the maximum distance from that corner screen to the wall would be 5 feet?
Yes, sir.
All right. And would you agree, now first witness,
Yes.
here's the crime scene. No.
Is it against the wall there?
That's the wall right there. There we go. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, so you located Sergeant Flores at the circle with 20.
Ben, I don't know if they can see where you're at.
Okay.
Okay, so.
So you would agree that you located Officer Flores at the circle at 20 yesterday when he stepped over,
Yes, sir.
all right? And you agree with me that if in fact, the moment he stepped over, he was at the corner of this screen, that he would not be at 20.
Yeah, he would be a little bit more to the left. You're right. Yes, sir.
All right, so if he was at the corner of the screen, then he was more to the left of 20 than you told us yesterday, correct?
Yes, than I originally guessed.
All right, and so you told us you reviewed all of the videos, correct?
Yes, I do.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you some details about Sergeant Rivera's video. But before I do that, I'm gonna ask you to take a look at your prosecution guide, which I understand is State's Exhibit 193. Do you have that in front of
Yes,
you?
sir.
All right, and if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere around page 50. 53 that you do a detailed timeline of Officer Rojas.
Yes, sir.
So you start the detailed timeline of Officer Rojas on page 53, correct?
Correct.
And it continues to page 54, and you have 13 time entries, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then on page 54, you have, you start a detailed time entry of Officer Salinas, and it continues to page 56, and there's 24 entries, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright, then on page 56, you have detailed entries on Officer Alejandro, and that continues to page 58. Well, actually, I take that back, it ends at page 57, and there's 22 entries, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you have, on page 58, detailed entries for, Officer Nathaniel Villalobos, and though there are 20 entries that continue to page 59, correct?
Correct.
And then there are, page 59, you have detailed entries for Sergeant Flores, and there are 24 entries that continue to page 61, correct?
Correct.
Alright, you did not make all those entries, on June 23rd, 2023, would you agree?
Yes, sir.
It took you some time to review the video several times over several days, actually several weeks, to be able to make all those entries, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree that you could not have made all those entries in one day?
It would have been tough, yes, sir, after everything was going on.
It would have been impossible. Alright, so, would you agree that the entries that you made on pages, and I'm gonna take my time because I wanna make sure I get it right, pages 53 through 61, those are the only detailed entries that you made of body cameras, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright, you didn't make any detailed entries of any other body cameras on June 23rd, 2023, correct?
Correct.
So would you agree with me that the detailed entries that we see on page 53 through 61 is a thorough review of those particular body cameras?
Yes, sir.
Alright, and would you agree with me that with the exception of those entries that we see on page 51 through 61, that you did not do as thorough of a review of the other body worn cameras, correct?
I reviewed them, but I did not do the detailed entries on them, yes, sir.
Okay, so you agree with me, you did not do as thorough of a review of the other body worn cameras,
Like I
correct?
said, I went through them, but
Okay,
I
that's
did
not my
detail them.
question. My question is, you did not do as thorough of a review of the other body worn cameras as you did.
And my answer
and
is, I
document-
did it with thorough review, I just didn't document it, that's my answer.
You didn't document it?
I didn't document them on, like, I didn't do it, detailed, like I did with these.
Okay.
I didn't detail them like I did with these, that's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
I wanna be sure that I understand what you're telling this jury. Are you saying you did a thorough review, but you didn't write notes?
I just didn't document, I didn't go through and do a step by step like I did on these.
Okay. Aren't you required to write everything that you do in your case?
Well,
You agree you're supposed to do
we
that?
keep notes, yes, sir.
Alright, where are those notes?
I turned in all the notes I had.
Okay, well, did you ask for them before you testified today?
No, sir.
Did you review them before you testified today?
No, sir.
Do we know that they even exist still?
I turned them into you guys, I don't know.
Turn them in where?
I turned them into the district attorney. My notes, the notes they asked for,
Okay,
yeah.
alright.
That's all I,
Your
notes
Honor,
I
at
had.
this time, I'd ask that those be turned over before we proceed.
Your Honor, everything that we have received from the defendant, we've disclosed to defense.
If he's telling this jury that he turned them over to the state, and we are to believe him, I wanna see those notes.
Your Honor, they've been made available to the defense, the discovery. Everything that we received, we turned over.
That's not the question. He says that he has notes that he turned over to the state. We have not received them, and I can, I can ask my co-counsels whether we received those notes where he details that he reviewed those body-worn cameras. We haven't seen them, and we want those notes turned over. If they haven't been turned over, then we need to have a hearing, and if this witness isn't telling the truth, then we have another situation.
All right, members of the jury, we're going to take up a matter outside your presence. We'll let you know when we're ready.
All right, for the jury? Claim that you turned over to the state. Did you turn them over by email or hand delivery?
I think I scanned them and I sent them over. That's what I
Okay.
believe I did.
You sent them over by email?
I think I scanned them and sent them.
All right.
Yeah,
And
by-
were those handwritten notes or were they computer notes?
They were just handed.
They're handwritten notes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you send those handwritten notes?
Honestly, I can't tell you the date. When they were requested, I sent them. I sent what I had. I think I
How
sent
was-
some with myself. I think the captain might have sent some. We scanned them over and sent them, whatever we had.
Sure.
Officer Schultz, on
Yes, sir.
so who requested them from you?
I thought it was requested through you guys through him. That's the
Well,
way I
we
interpreted
didn't, we
it.
request all discovery, but
Okay.
if you
Oh,
sent
okay.
it to the state, who requested, which one of these individuals, these three men?
Sir, I honestly, I don't remember who, sir.
Was it through an email or was it text?
It could have been email, it could have been through a phone call. I honestly, I don't recall.
Can you check you can check your email to find out? And who did you email them back to?
I believe, Mr. Harris, but I'm not sure. I know I was working, there were some other people. Mr. Molnar, I think, was on it for a little bit, but I could have sent to him. I don't recall. I can't remember.
Who was your POC on this case from the state?
I don't recall, sir. I'm sorry. But I do remember sending the notes. Though. I do recall that for sure.
So someone from the state requested them?
Yes, sir.
And you for sure sent them?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And so how many pages did you have in your notes?
It could have been 4 or 5 pages, maybe. I was on my notepad. I sent what I had in my notepad.
And which videos, those notes contain your review of which videos?
Well, it could have had some review of other ones. I honestly don't know exactly what it had on there, sir. I honestly don't. I can't exactly recall what was on there.
Would those notes be in what's called the murder book?
I do not know, sir.
Would you agree that if you follow procedure, they would be in the murder book?
I don't know what the murder book is.
You don't know?
No, what is that?
All right. Can you call, is there someone you can call in homicide and ask to review the murder book and see if your notes are there?
You mean like a log or something, or
Okay, if you took notes.
Yes, sir. I did. Yes, sir.
And if you did what you're supposed to do, you should have entered those notes into the murder book. My question for you is, can you call someone in homicide and ask for the notes in the murder book that you wrote?
I definitely don't recall it going into any murder book. I remember emailing it.
Okay, but can you call someone to look in the murder book and see if those notes are there?
I guess I can call and see. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
trying to recall.
and I'd ask that an effort be made to find these notes before we proceed.
You have approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Sean, you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 196 for identification. You recognize what State's 196 for identification is?
Yes, sir.
What are they?
These are the notes that I sent over
And those are notes from who?
from me.
Okay?
I think in, these are from, yeah, they're from me, all of them from me.
Okay? And we had discussion about field notes on or about April 1st of this year.
Yes, sir.
And did you also go through the department and check all officers listed on the IDR for who still had notes open?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And anything that you received from that survey, did you provide to me?
Yes, sir.
And did you make, all right? And Your Honor would tender the notes provided by Detective Soto, Officer Menley, were filed in discovery on or about April 5th of 2025, made available to all defendants, to include email of our conversation, and they are in the discovery document tendered to defense when we started this trial. Everything that was given was a flow-through. They have that. We sat here with this witness. They have it. Whatever it is exists.
All right.
Everything we got, they have.
Okay. Now you require.
Yes.
Can we stay with this, please?
Yeah, there's a stapler right there.
Can we number this for the record? Any objection to numbering?
I've already got a state's exhibit on it.
196.
The page numbers.
We wanna write the page number on each one?
Yes.
That would be altering the exhibit.
It's not evidence. It's not
I don't know,
evidence.
I don't know what he intends to do with it.
Page number,
It's not that long.
refer to it.
All right. You can do that.
Hold on, is there objection or not to
Well,
it?
we object.
Based off what legal theory?
Based on what legal theory do you put
It's
numbers
not evidence.
on the exhibit?
It's
We've-
not
so
evidence.
we've
We can
marked
refer
it.
One at a time.
It's an exhibit we have marked, you cannot change it.
Well, we can refer to it on the record.
Sure, you can refer to it.
All right. I'll be meticulous to make sure it's clear. It'll take longer, but I'm okay with that. On page 1 of State's Exhibit 196, the first handwritten note is Gomez 453 and it has SAPD case number. I'm calling this the first page. Would you agree with me that nothing on the first page indicates any note about body cameras that you reviewed concerning the 15 officers that were present at Then let's go to the next page. I call that page number 2, and it has NKI Alexis Tovar, next of kin. Can you agree with me on that?
Yes, sir.
So, since you agree that this is page 2, would you agree with me that page 2 has no notes indicating what body-worn cameras you reviewed of the 15 officers that were present on June 23rd, 2023 at 6200 Old Pearsall Road at 20207?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go to the third page. The third page is has at the top an entry that's written 6-23-23, and it looks like there's a what?
The 1210 or something. I just marked out the time.
Okay, and what's marked out below?
Oh, it says 1516.
Okay.
It was 1210.
All right, so would you agree that if this is page 3, there's nothing on this document that says that you reviewed any body-worn camera?
Correct, sir.
All right, we're gonna go to page 4. And, I don't know if I'm calling that or somebody else, I apologize.
No, sorry about that.
All right, page 4, would you agree that it's, has handwriting 6-30-23, looks like it has 1445 hours, and it says submitted firearms, so on and so forth?
11:45, yes, sir.
Alright, would you agree with me if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing on this page
Yes, sir.
has any notes about body worn camera that you reviewed on June 23rd, 2023?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so, I think this is gonna be page 5, and it says, Melissa, and I don't know, Melissa Perez, I don't know.
Melissa's medical history, treatment records.
Okay, and this is, just to be sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you would agree with me, nothing on page 5 has any reference to your review of body worn cameras.
Correct, sir.
Going to page 6.
I think that's manually. I think that's not right. I think this is the protected memo.
Okay,
I think. It looks a little different from my writing. I know I'm using it.
okay. So on page 6, you're agreeing with me, these are not your notes.
I don't think we are, but then there's some writing on the bottom that kind of looks like my writing, but this part doesn't look like mine.
Okay, on page 6 where it says Francis Mendoza, at the top, would you agree with me on page 6, nothing on that page makes reference to any body worn cameras that you reviewed?
Correct, sir.
Alright, and on page 7, it looks like it says, is that 1500 or 1300?
I think it's 13.
1300, it says Miller's Pond. And this is the last page of exhibit 196. Would you agree with me, nothing in there makes any reference to body worn cameras?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so would you agree with me that nothing in exhibit 196 has any handwritten notes by you that says that you reviewed the other body worn cameras other than those listed in your prosecution guide?
I can agree with that, yes, sir.
Alright, so my question, I'm sure you'll understand, is where are those notes that,
I don't have any. Yes, sir.
so earlier testimony that you had handwritten notes.
I don't recall saying I had handwritten notes for it. I just,
They did.
you did. I don't recall saying that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You were asking if I thoroughly reviewed it, and I was saying, yeah, I thoroughly reviewed it. And then you asked if I had notes. I said, well, I have notes. I thought in general, do I have notes? And that's why I said, yeah, I turned in the notes I had. That's what I was saying in general.
Okay. So if I didn't hear you correctly, and let's just assume I didn't hear you correctly, you're willing to admit now that you didn't have any handwritten notes on how you reviewed the body worn cameras of the other witnesses.
Yes, sir, I don't have any. If I would have had it, I would have turned it in to you guys. I wouldn't have.
And not only do you not have them, but you didn't take any.
If I don't have them, I would
Okay,
have given to you.
I'm not asking you whether you have them, I'm asking you, are you willing to admit you didn't take any?
I'm gonna admit I didn't take any, because I would have given them to you. Yes, sir.
Okay. So whether you testified inconsistently previously or I misheard you, you're absolutely clear that you did not take detailed notes like you took on page 53 through 61 of your prosecution guide on, and let me just make sure that I have all of the witnesses listed correctly. Give me a moment, I'll pull them up. Alright, so I'm gonna list the officers that were present at Miller's Pond at the time of 2/02/07. And after I list them, I'm gonna ask you a question, alright?
Yes, sir.
So you would agree with me that the people present at Miller's Pond at 20207 were Eleazar Alejandro, Jacob Arsenis, Andrew Chernak, Alfred Flores, Vince Gomez, Andrew Lamb, Robert Ramos, Edwin Rivera, Matthew Robertson, Jesus Rojas, Jonathan Salinas, Maria Salinas, Travis Thompson, Nathaniel Villalobos, and Dallin Young. You would agree with me?
Yes, sir.
And so if that's approximately 15 officers, you would agree with me that you have no notes for, and I'm going to do a little bit of mathematics if you don't mind. We have Rojas, which is 1. We have Salinas, which is 2. We have Alejandro, which is 3. And we have and Flores, which is 5. You would agree with me, you have absolutely no documentation in any handwritten notes or audit trails that you reviewed 10 of those videos.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Can we bring the jury back?
Okay.
And while we're waiting for the jury, I'd ask the court reporter to search back for the testimony that was held outside of the presence of the jury, because I would like that read back.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just reproduce it.
Just reproduce it.
Yeah, just do it.
Okay, all right for the jury?
May be seated.
All right, welcome back, members of the jury. Defense?
Your Honor, I would request that the reporter read back the testimony of this witness after the jury was excused, the questions that were asked, and how, okay. The last question before the jury was excused.
All right, so the last question before the jury was excused.
okay, where are those notes? Answer, I turned in all the notes that I had. Question, what did you ask for them before you testified today? Answer, no, sir. Question, did you review them before you testified today? Answer, no, sir. Question, we know that they even still exist? Do we know that they even still exist? Answer, I turned them into you guys, I don't know. You turned them into where? Answer, I turned them into the district attorney, the notes that they asked for. Okay, that's all the notes I have. Your Honor, at this time, I would ask those notes, that those be turned over before we proceed.
All right, Detective Soto, you understand before the jury was excused, I specifically asked you for the notes that you took on 10 officers whose body cameras were not detailed in your reports with your prosecution guide. And you only, okay, first of all, would you agree with me there were 15 officers present at the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me finish my question. There were 15 officers present on June 23rd, 2023 at 6200 Old Pearsall Road at 20207. You understand that, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you understand that on State's Exhibit 53, and I believe that it starts on page 53 through 61 of your prosecution guide, you had detailed notes on Rojas, Jonathan Salinas, Eleazar Alejandro, Nathaniel Flores, and Sergeant Alfred, I'm sorry, did I say Villalobos? I meant to say Nathaniel Villalobos and Sergeant Alfred Flores. Those are 5 officers, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And there were 15 officers present, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree with me that nowhere in the prosecution guide are there detailed notes explaining your review of the 10 other witnesses that were present, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you understand that before the jury was excused, I asked you if you had notes detailing your thorough review of the 10 missing witnesses similar to the 5 officers that are included in your prosecution guide. Do you recall your answer?
Honestly, I was saying in general, I did have notes. I didn't say it was of the review, I said in general I had notes. That's kind of the way I interpreted the question, that's all.
Okay, so I understood that you were telling this jury that you had notes that detailed your review of those 10 other officers. Would you agree that no such notes exist?
That is true, I don't have any notes for detailing the other body cam.
All right. So, and you would agree with me that when you said you turned over the notes that you had to the district attorney's office, when we asked for a copy of those notes, those were produced as State's Exhibit 196, correct?
Correct, sir.
And we went through those 7 pages of handwritten notes, correct?
Yes, sir.
We went through them one by one, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had time to read each page to yourself, correct?
Correct.
And I asked you on each page, one by one, whether there was anything on page 1 relating to your review of the 10 officers' body-worn cameras. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And on each page, you said there are no such notes that indicate that you reviewed the 10 other officers' body-worn cameras, correct?
Correct.
So, you would agree with me that you did not do as thorough a review of the 10 officers that you did of the 5 officers that are listed in your prosecution guide on page 53 through 61.
I can agree, I did not take notes, so I could have taken notes for better memory recollection.
Sir, that's not my question. I respectfully ask that you answer my question directly. You would agree the absence of your notes indicates that you did not do a thorough review of the 10 officers that no notes exist.
I did not do as thorough a review as I should have in that, no.
All right. So, when you say in your affidavit that you digital media, were you trying to tell the magistrate judge that you did a thorough review of all 15 videos?
I just watched what I did. I used
Sir,
the probable
sir,
cause.
answer my question. Were you trying to tell the magistrate judge that you did a thorough review of all the digital media?
I did a review of what I needed to develop probable cause.
Okay.
That's pretty much what I was trying to do. That's it.
All right, but you didn't just say that you had probable cause by reviewing all the digital media. You recall that, right?
Can you repeat the question again?
All right. All right, I'll take my time here. All right, you would agree with me that you stated in your affidavit, after review of available digital evidence and physical evidence in the defendant's statements, your client does not believe the use of deadly force was reasonable given the totality of the circumstances. You said that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you would agree with me that by saying a review of available digital evidence, you did not do a thorough review of all digital evidence, did you?
I did not watch all of them. No, sir.
Okay. You
What-
agree all
I did
digital
not do a
evidence.
thorough review of the visual evidence.
All right. And you agree that yesterday, when I asked you a series of questions about the totality of circumstances, you agreed with me that you did not include that information in the totality of the circumstances.
I did not include it. Generally, I just get the probable cause for the affidavit.
Okay.
That's why.
All right. So you do understand that the state has to disprove beyond a reasonable doubt that these gentlemen that are sitting to my left were not justified in their use of deadly force, correct?
Correct.
And in order to establish probable cause that they were not justified, you have to look at the totality of the circumstances, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree that you did not provide the magistrate judge with all of the context of what the totality of the circumstances was, correct?
In general, I just get the probable cause for the affidavit. The
Sir.
totality is usually in the prosecutor.
Sir, I know you're trying to explain what you did, but my question is very simple, it's very direct. You did not include all of the totality of circumstances, correct?
In general, we don't put all the totality in the
Sir,
affidavit.
that's
Just
not,
the
I'm
probable
not
cause.
asking you what you usually do. I'm asking you, did you fail to put the totality of the circumstances in your affidavit? Yes or no?
No.
You did not.
I put what I needed for the probable cause.
Okay, so you're
That's
admitting,
my
are
answer.
you willing to admit that you did not put the totality of the circumstances in your affidavit?
I put what I needed to put in there for the
Sir,
for
I'm
the probable cause.
asking that you answer my question. You're being evasive. We know what the answer is. Just admit that you did not put the totality of the circumstances in the affidavit. It's a simple yes or no.
All I needed to put was to develop probable cause, sir, and put it in my affidavit. That's all I
Okay.
had to do.
So, would you agree with me that probable cause includes what the state has to disprove beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so if you agree with that, then if you did not include why the officers were not justified, you failed to include all the probable cause. Would you agree?
In my opinion, based on what I believe, I put that in there.
Sir, I'm
That's
not
the best
asking
way I
your
can answer.
opinion, I'm asking you what is a fact. You did not include the totality of the circumstances that would inform a magistrate judge whether these gentlemen were justified in using deadly force in response to Melissa Perez's deadly force.
Objection, Your Honor. As counsel's phrasing the question, what is required for the magistrate judge in the warrant is probable cause. Evidence to negate the defense is for this jury. He's invading the province of the jury. The question has been asked and answered. He's also confusing the legal requirements at this stage in the investigation. I object under all three grounds.
And my response is that he has not answered my question. So the suggestion that has been asked and answered is untrue. He's being evasive. And he's admitted that he has to disprove justification beyond a reasonable doubt as part of probable cause. And he's not addressing that. And this is cross-examination. And we're entitled to know why he failed to include relevant information in the affidavit, because it is relevant to whether he did a thorough investigation and whether he was biased and prejudiced and conducted a conclusory investigation.
And Your Honor, just real quick, I'm sorry, the Villalobos also objects to the non-responsiveness of this witness. He's not answering Mr. Fuentes' question. It's important to him that the witness answered that question, because that is the affidavit that he took and walked the warrant to charge him with murder, as well as these two guys. So we object to non-responsive.
I understand that, Your Honor, and my only answer is negating the defense is not appropriate at the warrant stage. The basis is probable cause to sustain the warrant. When he intermixes negating the defense, that is he is confusing that issue, and that is for this jury to decide.
Well, if he's an officer assigned to the officer-involved shooting team, that is the very issue they deal with, is justification. Because every officer-involved shooting involves an officer's use of deadly force where they shoot a citizen, and the sole issue in the investigation is whether the shooting was justified. So that's the crux of the investigation, and it's relevant. So if he is assigned to the officer-involved shooting team, he should be able to answer that question.
Your Honor, that question is irrelevant as it pertains to the affidavit and the warrant. It is more appropriate for his argument in this trial. It is inappropriate at this stage. He's conflating the arrest warrant and trial. I ask that it be stricken.
All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll sustain the state's objection related to the affidavit and the warrant. I will ask you to ask the questions, but just rephrase it.
Okay. You agree that the purpose of the officer-involved shooting team is to determine whether a shooting, which you know happened, was legally justified under Chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code. You understand that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so a competent investigator assigned to the officer-involved shooting team would be required to gather all information related to the totality of the circumstances, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree with me that you could not gather the totality of the circumstances unless you review every single body-worn camera of the officers present, correct?
I did not review all of them that day, sir, so I wasn't able to get everything I needed. All I needed was a probable cause, sir.
Sir, that's not my question. And I know you'd like to say all you needed was probable cause. I want you to answer my question. It's very simple. You understand that you're required to gather the totality of the circumstances. We can agree with that, yes?
Yes, sir.
And you agree that you cannot determine the totality of the circumstances if you fail to conduct a thorough review of all the body-worn cameras. We can agree with that, correct?
It can be agreed that if I didn't watch everything, yes.
So, but you would agree, not only did you not watch everything, but you can't determine the totality of the circumstances if you don't do a thorough review of all of the body-worn cameras, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, given your answers, we know that in your prosecution guide and in your arrest warrant, you did not conduct the type of investigation to determine the totality of the circumstances these officers faced in a split second when they fired, because you, by your own admission, failed to review thoroughly 10 body-worn cameras, correct?
I did not take notes on them, so yes, sir.
All right. Would you agree that you have taken TCOL courses on warrants?
Yes, sir.
And you're supposed to follow that TCOL training when you apply for an arrest warrant?
Yes, sir.
All right, and would you agree that that training mandates that all information, including information that would allow the magistrate to determine probable cause or not, be included in the affidavit?
I have to see the exact training, but yeah, yes, sir.
You agree with me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and so the phrase probable cause or not, the or not means exculpatory information, right?
Yes, sir.
And so exculpatory information would be totality of circumstances, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I'm gonna see if I can talk to, can we, switch to?
He's good.
All right. This is from, let me send you this video. This is, I'm not sure that's right here. All right.
Council, may I ask whose video was that?
I'm trying to figure that out, sir. This is Sergeant Rivera's body-worn camera video. And I believe it's been introduced into evidence as Defendant's Exhibit 33. You would agree with me that at 2:02:03 that we see Alfred Flores starting to straddle the patio railing.
Yes, sir.
All right. And I'm gonna do this frame by frame, just so there's no doubt. Whoops. Oops. I can lock it in. Hoping I can lock it in. Thought there was a means of, let me do it this way. All right, so I'll enlarge it frame by frame. But he's going over at 2:02:03, correct?
Correct.
And then next frame, he's going over. And it looks like he's got his right foot down. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
All right, and his right foot is at the corner of the screen.
Yes, sir. It's near the corner. Can't see the corner, but yes, sir. Looks like it's in the area.
And then his left foot also looks like it's at the corner of the screen, correct?
Correct.
And we actually see part of the screen to the right of both of his legs, correct?
Correct.
All right, so if we can go to this diagram. Yeah. Let me enlarge this before we do that. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm kind of old, Judge, so I need help. All right, so I'm pointing to the corner of the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
And so a little bit to the left of the corner, that's where both of Sergeant Flores' feet are in the video that we saw on Sergeant Rivera's body-worn camera, frame by frame, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So would you say that from this corner here, and I'm gonna make an estimate, and would you agree that anywhere between 6 inches to 12 inches, Sergeant Flores, both of his feet were to the left of this corner?
Yes, sir.
You would agree that 6 to 12 inches is about the distance?
Yes, sir.
And would you agree with me that if both of his feet were at this point, and I'm pointing to this rail here, that if we go straight up, on this rail, that this rail would be slightly to the left of the right window frame, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if he is at that window screen, would you agree with me that the back of his head is facing the window?
His, the left side of him is facing it.
All right. And so you would agree with me that, I may stand up and illustrate?
Yes.
All right, and again, I apologize for my age and I may be clumsy, but he's going over the rail, kind of horsey style, right?
Yes, sir.
And he goes like this, right?
Yes, sir.
And the back of his head is facing towards where the hammer is striking, correct?
When he's going over, yes, it would be facing.
All right, so as he goes over the rail, and if you can imagine Melissa's running 15 feet towards the window, and it goes like this, as Melissa's closing the distance, he is unable to see Melissa Perez running at him with the hammer, right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that when she is closing that distance and he's unable to see, he's highly vulnerable, correct?
He could be vulnerable, yes, sir.
All right, and he's not able to dodge and duck or get out of the way because he can't see her coming.
Correct.
And so when he's unable to dodge or duck, he's, in reality, you would agree, defenseless.
At that second, when he's climbing over, he could, yes, sir. He could be.
All right, and so you would agree with me that you don't mind, I'm gonna take a little breath to make sure that I compose myself. You would agree with me that a fellow officer who sees their sergeant in a defenseless position in time of danger has a duty to protect their sergeant.
Of course.
And you would agree with me that any patrolman who failed to protect their sergeant would be deemed a coward.
Objection, relevance, outside the scope, there is no basis in law for it.
I'll sustain.
You're familiar with the civil service rules for the city of San Antonio, correct?
I don't know verbatim, but yes, I know there are civil service rules.
You're familiar with rules and regulations that require you to protect others, correct?
Yes, I know there are some, but again, I have to see them.
And you're familiar with, Unit 4 or Chapter 4 of the Rules and Regulations 200, right? The duties that an officer is required to fulfill.
Yes,
And you understand that if you are neglectful of your duties, that could be a basis to be fired, correct?
Check as to relevance for employment law. This issue concerns only justifications for the use of deadly force.
You can rephrase.
You would agree, in your personal opinion, it would be reasonable for an officer seeing their sergeant in a defenseless position to want to protect him.
yes, of course.
And if the person seeing their sergeant in a defenseless position reasonably believed that his sergeant was facing threat of imminent serious bodily injury or death, it would be reasonable for the officer to take measures to defend. You don't need to look at the statement. It would be reasonable for the officer to defend his sergeant.
Objection has been asked and answered. Previous question.
No, it has not.
Counsel has simply added additional adjectives. It is the same question.
Right,
Overruled?
this is cross-examination.
Overruled.
Answer the question.
Repeat it, please.
I'd ask the court reporter to read it back.
Question, and if the person seeing their sergeant in a defenseless position reasonably believed that his sergeant was facing a threat of imminent serious bodily injury or death, it would be reasonable for the officer to take measures to defend. You don't need to look at the state. It would be reasonable for the officer to defend his sergeant.
If that's what he believed, yes, if he believed that at the time,
And you believe that would be reasonable, right?
if he believed it, yes.
All right. And if I'm not mistaken, can we, take the time and have Christian help me out here? Locate, Eleazar's statement that's been introduced.
Stage 194.
Thank you. I can have about 20 seconds and then permission to approach the witness.
Okay.
Approach now.
Yes.
This has been introduced as State's Exhibit number 194, so it's in evidence. And so I'm gonna ask you to read beginning at this paragraph, at this point in time, and end right there, okay?
Counsel has asked which paragraph? Third on page 1.
Well, actually, it's the fourth full paragraph, but it's in the middle.
Thank you.
While Sergeant Flores and Officer Villalobos stood at the porch door near the back window, I observed the suspect turn and face towards them as she picked up a hammer in her right hand. I then saw the suspect rush towards the porch window where they were standing. And I observed the suspect wind her right hand in the air with the hammer in her right hand. Hearing the suspect would throw the hammer at Sergeant Flores and Officer Lobos, I said, "Watch out." As I discharged my weapon several times, at this moment, the suspect took several steps backward before attacking the officers at the porch window again. During the second attack, I shot the suspect again and observed her still standing at the window.
Alright. You would agree with me that what we just read is depicted in various body worn cameras, correct?
Correct.
So what Eleazar Alejandro said, which you read, was factually true, correct?
Yes.
Alright, and he's describing his belief that Sergeant Flores' life is in danger.
Yes, sir. He's describing his belief. Yes, sir.
And you agree that what he described happened between 2:02:04 to 2:02:07, correct?
Correct.
And so what he's describing happened in 3 seconds, correct?
Within a few seconds, yes, sir.
And she initially was behind, or actually in front of her TV, then ran to the couch to pick up the hammer, correct?
Correct.
And where she picked up the hammer was probably anywhere between 12 to 15 feet away from the window which she struck at 2:02:07, correct?
Correct.
And so in the time that she left the TV, went to the couch, at the time she started charging from the couch to the window in 15 feet, that took probably less than a second, correct?
It was very quick. Yes, sir.
Very quickly. And so would you agree with me that in your training in officer-involved shootings, you were taught that the only requirement is that the choice that the officer made had to be reasonable. It doesn't have to be a perfect outcome, correct?
Had to be reasonable.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
A lot of them aren't. Yes, sir.
And you were taught that officers should not be second-guessed if you disagree.
Objection. Argumentative outside the scope of this officer's basic training. He's not an expert.
Well, he's an officer-involved shooting detective. He should be able to answer it. He can say yes or no.
Well, as it relates to the question as to whether second guessing is involved, you can rephrase that.
All right. You know that the Supreme Court of the United States has said that you cannot judge an officer shooting with 20/20 hindsight, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Outside the scope, again, he's invading the province of this jury and injecting.
I'll sustain.
All right. All right. This has been introduced I believe as defense exhibit
Which name is it on?
It says user audit trail.
For him?
Yes.
2H.
This has been introduced as 2H. You understand what a user audit trail is, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to look at boxes 2559 through 2562. These are the only boxes dated June 23rd, 2023 on your user audit trail, correct?
Correct.
All right, so there's only 4 boxes, and in these 4 boxes, it indicates that you accessed Alejandro Eleazar's body-worn camera. There's nowhere else does it indicate on June 23rd, 2023, that you accessed anyone else's body-worn camera on your Axon account, correct?
Objection, this information has been asked and answered. He's testified he downloaded Alejandro's. It's been answered already.
Overruled.
So you agree that what I proposed in my question is true, correct?
Correct.
All right. So would you agree that based upon your user audit trail, that on June 23rd, you did not document that you looked at anyone else's body-worn camera other than Eleazar's, correct?
Correct. I did not document that.
All right. And so, I don't know if, want to make sure that this is correct. Yes, it is. All right. Can I approach?
Yes.
I don't know what the next thing is.
120.
And I'm gonna tender to the safe, a USB drive that's been marked as exhibit from 120, and I represent that it contains all the digital user audit trails of the devices that the state provided to me in June of 2024, and which were produced by this witness.
These were everything that he provided.
You emailed it to
Are these the same things that were referenced in 2A and 2B? Ms. Perez?
No, these are, you emailed me the device audit trails in June of 2024, and those were not introduced.
Okay, but I'm saying with the previous witness, we had marked and had a stack of what I thought were user audit trails. Is this the same digital versions of the stack of papers?
I wanna be clear, there's a difference between user audit trails
Yes, sir.
and device audit trails.
Yes, sir.
I wanna be clear that on June 2024, you provided to me by email the device audit trails of the officers on scene. And they were produced and run by this witness.
Yes, sir. I recall that. My question, Sandy, are there, which I'd like to hear the answer from the counsel of record. Are these one that's in question. Objection to all sidebar, Your Honor, as I try to
I
ask.
mean, Judge, he's addressing to us so I can respond. I mean, we're not in kindergarten. He's talking to me, I'm talking back.
All right, let's just make sure that we focus on what's at hand.
Just want to.
And if you could address the court.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. All right, I'm asking, I understand you saying these are the user audit trails. 2A and 2B, those are device audit trails?
Your Honor, counsel is mistaken. I wish to be clear that the 2A, 2Bs, and so forth are user audit trails. They are a distinct record, far different from what's on the USB drive, which is Defense Exhibit 120. What's on USB 120 is different from the user audit trails. They're not identical. They are the device audit trails that this witness provided to the state, and the state provided them to me in June by both email and discovery. And they fall under the same custodian of records.
All right, Your Honor, again, deriving from counsel's presentation to the court that the flash drive, that 2A, 2B, I heard him say are user audit trails, and that the items on the flash drive are the individual body cam audit trails. So I am understanding that to be a yes to my question, and I acknowledge, given that the state has no objection, I was just trying to distinguish the two. No objection, Your Honor.
All right. It's admitted.
Before I show you a particular device audit trail, Jason, I believe Mr. Goss asked you some questions yesterday,
Yes, sir.
and if you could step down so you can see this. We went through a timeline, or actually I should say, Mr. Goss went through a timeline with you. And it's my understanding that you did not get back to the public safety headquarters until approximately 5 o'clock.
No, sir, probably about, four-ish probably, I would think about 4.
4:51 a.m.
No, that's when that's when I logged in for the, so it was much before that.
Okay, can we agree?
That's about 4 o'clock probably.
Can we agree that before 4:51, you did not look at any body worn cameras?
But I honestly, I could have, yes, I could have. There people were looking at stuff already, definitely could have looked at it, I can't say I didn't.
Okay, but we don't see any evidence of it in your user audit trail, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir, it's not in my, yes, sir.
Alright, and you can't tell us which cameras you looked at that day, can you?
No, I can't, sir, no.
And, you would agree with me that none of the, detectives that wrote supplements indicated in any shape, form, or fashion that they watched body worn cameras of the 10 officers, that were not documented in your prosecution guide with you. They did not document that anywhere.
Correct, it was not documented, yes, sir.
And you didn't document that anywhere in your prosecution guide, correct?
Correct, sir, I did not.
Alright, so we're trying to figure out, by looking at particular user audit trails and device audit trails, which cameras you might have looked at and whether you had enough time. So would you agree that between this time and 7:36, you were busy taking Alejandro's statement?
Between that time, yes, sir. And then there was time in between, like I put here, where when he was looking at, when they were reviewing stuff, I was talking to other detectives, and I could have also been walked over to the cubicle and also looked at body cam footage, yes, sir.
Alright, so.
But so it was in between there. There was gaps in between that time, yes, sir.
Alright, so, 1.5 hours that you were, between 4:51 and 7:36, correct?
Correct, but like I said, once we were done, I took the statement over, we looked at, I don't know how long exactly that part took, the initial part. I don't think it took an hour and a half. Took it over, came back, and like I said, there is time in between where I'm getting pulled by different detectives, things like that.
Alright, so would you agree with me that between 451 and 736, you cannot tell us how many other, if at all, body cameras you looked at?
I can't, I didn't document it, no, sir.
Alright, so you would just be guessing.
Yeah, yes, sir, I'm guessing, yes, sir.
Alright, and you can't even tell us how long, if at all, you looked at any body camera, correct?
I can't, I didn't document it, no, sir.
Right, and you understand that on the Axon audit trail, whether it's a device or user audit trail, there's a column that says what activity the officer reviewed and engaged in, correct?
Yes, there's like a little log there.
Alright, and so there's 3 different types of activities. You can access a device, correct, or video. You can buffer a device, right?
Correct,
And you can stream it.
correct.
And stream means that you viewed it. So if you look at the audit trail to determine whether or not you looked at a video, you'd have to look at the stream. You don't count accessing, you don't count buffering, because accessing and buffering means you're skipping around, right?
I get, I don't know all about that stuff, honestly, but I'm gonna take your word for it, I don't know.
Alright, so, now, from 4:51 to noon, do we know which body cameras you looked at?
The ones I believe I looked at were the 3 officers involved, possibly Thompson, Salinas, Maria Salinas, and I believe the first 3 that were there. The other ones I cannot say for sure. I can't, honestly, I can't tell you which ones.
Alright, if the device audit trails show that whoever looked at that video did not stream the video from beginning to end, you wouldn't dispute that, would you?
That's definitely possible, because I might have only looked at that clip of the shooting.
Alright, so if someone only streamed it for a few minutes, you would agree with me that if the entire video was an hour or the entire video was 40 minutes, but they only streamed it for a few minutes, whoever looked at it didn't look at it for the entirety of the video, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Alright, so, just to be sure, you're not telling this jury that you looked at every video from beginning to end. You're not saying that, are you?
I'm not saying that. I did not look at every video from beginning to end. Yes, sir.
Alright. And, you would agree with me that unless you looked at every video from beginning to end, you cannot say with certainty that you reviewed the totality of the circumstances on each video, correct?
There's no way I could look at every one of them.
Alright, so you're admitting to this jury that you could not have looked at all 15 videos from beginning to end in the time that we have
Could-
here?
Of course, I could not have, no
Okay.
time.
Alright, well, then, with that admission, I think we don't need to go through this further. I have a moment, because I'm having my counsel keeping you organized.
Okay.
At any point in time, did you tell Lieutenant Podwika or Sergeant, I believe it's Wedeke?
At the scene, you mean?
Who was your homicide sergeant?
Oh, it's Sergeant Wedeking was my sergeant.
Wedeke?
Wedeking, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, Wedeking.
Wedeke. Would you agree with me that you never told Sergeant Wedeke or Lieutenant Podwika or Captain Geffen, I would like more time to review all the videos?
I did not say that.
Okay, you could have said that, right?
I could have, yes, sir.
As an investigator, you have unfettered discretion to do a complete investigation. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
And, if you didn't have time to do a complete investigation, especially since you were new on an officer-involved shooting, you do understand that officers such as you, investigators such as you, detectives such as you, it would be good judgment to ask for advice, direction, and more time if you needed to be more thorough, correct?
I can agree, yes, ask for advice, direction, yes, sir.
All right, did you document anywhere in your prosecution guide or any emails that you wanted more time?
No, sir.
All right. And, you did agree that you did not review all of the videos in their entirety, right?
I agree.
Objection's been asked and answered.
I'll sustain.
So, given what we know about your failure to look at all the videos in their entirety, you did not ask any supervisor for more time before obtaining a warrant.
I did not ask anybody for more time.
All right. Now, I wanna go to go back to your prosecution guide.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's gonna be on the last third of your prosecution guide. It looks like on my copy it's page 63. And it's gonna say NK1 Alexis Tovar.
Yes.
Alright. Yesterday, you stated that you did not recall whether certain things were said or not said. You remember that?
Correct, sir.
Okay, you did document what was said, correct?
Yeah, I did like a little brief summary of our conversation.
Alright, so read that document, that paragraph to yourself, and when you're finished, let me know. Alright, you had a chance to read that?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so, having had a chance to read that, would you agree with me that on all the questions that I asked you yesterday when you said I don't know, having refreshed your memory, you can now agree that those things were said?
I think you're asking about the schizophrenia and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes, that, yes, yes, sir.
And the EDs and so
And
forth?
the ED, yes, sir.
And the medications?
Yes, sir.
And they're concerned that whether or not she had she had caused harm to the homeless man.
She believed there was a homeless man there and didn't know their relationship. I don't recall them expressing any concern for him.
Yes.
You indicated that you didn't make any transcripts of any of the body worn cameras, correct?
I don't recall making any of those.
All right, I'm handing you a transcript that we've made of your body worn camera. And it's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 121. And I'm gonna ask you to focus on the parts that are highlighted in this transcript. And if you could do me a favor and put a check mark by all the highlighted portions that you remember discussing, because if you don't check it, then I'll play the video to refresh your memory, and that, I think we could save a lot of time that way, all right?
Yes, sir. Take the time with me.
Sure. So there's portions that are highlighted. If you recall,
Just the portions that I highlighted.
if you recall making those statements in that response, check it,
Yes, sir.
because then we'll go over the parts that aren't checked.
Yeah, can I take this witness on right here?
Yes.
Ted, the document that's in front of you, have you ever seen that before?
No, sir, I have not.
Is it purports as counsel presented it, is it a transcript of a meeting that you had with the daughter of the deceased?
Well, that's what it looks like, but I've never seen anything, I've never seen it in this form before.
And you previously testified to having attended that meeting and you recorded it?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I would object to reading a hearsay document not out in evidence and then asking this witness to rely on its authenticity. Counsel articulated before the jury yesterday that they would produce the video. If they like, we could conditionally admit a copy and play that to the jury as the best evidence, and then they can follow up with a hard copy afterwards. But to go and pick and choose out of a transcript, then I'd have to respond likewise. We will agree to a conditional playing of the soft electronic copy and publish the video and go from there. You can question it from that. But a document that counsel's created on its own, that this witness has never seen, no, sir. We object to that.
Well, we'll introduce a copy of the video and we'll just play it. I thought we might save some time if he could agree to things, but if he doesn't, if the state wants us to play it, we'll play it.
Okay. Everybody get on the jury? Anybody require a break yet?
I'm just wondering if this might be a good time to take
Yeah,
a
this
break.
would be a good time. So let's go ahead and cue that up, and then we'll give the jury a break.
All right for the jury?
You may be seated.
All right, defense?
I'd like to hand the witness defense exhibit 121 while we play the video. And we've marked a DVD as defendant's exhibit 122, which we've labeled family meeting, Detective Soko Daisy Nieto. The state has provided us a copy of this. We're gonna use it before the jury for demonstrative purposes and play from the video. That's all right.
So the video is 122.
Correct. On 121, detective, I have timestamps. I have timestamps, and I'm gonna go to 12/11/32 and oops, clicking on the wrong one. All right.
Said the investigation is still preliminary, so, there's still a lot of stuff we have to do, but, I just felt out of respect, we need to, me and my partner need to come out here and talk to you guys and kinda, you know, let you guys know what happened.
All right, so you'd agree with me that you told them that the investigation is still preliminary, correct?
Yes, sir.
And, the transcript that we provided to you is true and correct, would you agree? All right, now, when you made the statement that it's preliminary, was that a truthful statement?
Yes, sir.
And so at 12/11/32, you would agree that since you made a truthful statement that the investigation was preliminary, you did not have enough information for probable cause to obtain a warrant, correct?
By saying it was preliminary just means that we're still looking at things, that's a general.
Okay, can you answer my question? By saying that it was preliminary, would you agree that the jury can be assured that at this point in time, at 12/11/32, you lack sufficient information to walk a warrant, correct?
At that time, like I said, there was still stuff to work through, so when we got back, there was more stuff to look through.
So is the answer to that question yes or no?
Because I had to get back and look at statements.
Is
at
the
time,
answer to
yes.
that question yes or no?
Yes, sir, it is, yes.
Yes, okay. All right. Now, let's go to, 12/59.
I guess, one of the officers got hit with something. I don't know exactly what happened with that, but like I said, we're still trying to figure everything.
Okay, when you told the family that an officer got hit with something, I'm assuming, I don't wanna make the mistake of assuming a fact, so you help me out, okay? That, when you said got hit with something, you did not know at that time what he got hit with.
Well, the candle, I knew at that time, but I just didn't tell them that.
Alright, so, but you did say, I don't know exactly what happened with that, but like I said, we're still trying to figure everything out. You did say that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was truthful.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Now, and just, unfortunately, she was inside of her apartment, and a disturbance happened with the officers. They were talking and conversating with her, and then, just, you know, during that time inside the apartment, you know, she was shot by officers, and she passed obviously there. So, like I said, we're still trying to, you know, figure out all the details. It's a long, ongoing, you know, process. We gotta take our time and go through everything. But we just, you know, we wanted to come in here and just kind of let you know everything's preliminary still.
Alright, when you told them, we got to take our time and go through everything, was that a truthful statement?
We still had to go, in general, I was letting them know we still have to go through stuff. It's just
My-
like something I'll say in
Sir.
general.
Sir, my questions require a yes or no answer. Was it a truthful statement, yes or no?
Yes, we still had to go through stuff.
Alright. Now I'm gonna go to, 12/14. I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Is there anything you think of that was going on recently with mom?
She has this diagnosis schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
She has a diagnosis. She has problems with substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last few months, she did have like hallucinations.
Okay, so, you would agree that Alexis Tovar told you that she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, correct?
Yes, sir.
Alright. And also told you that she had problems with substance abuse, correct?
Yes, sir.
Things of that sort. I don't know if that's why she was doing stuff.
Yeah, so the family's been
Okay,
ongoing with them.
so you would agree with me that Alexis Tovar told you that she was having hallucinations, correct?
Correct.
And even her own family knowing that she was having hallucinations, didn't know why she was doing certain things, correct?
Correct.
So if her own family who knew her better than you didn't know why she was doing certain things, you don't have better insight into why Melissa Perez would do things, correct?
No, they would know more than me, yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
They would know more than me, yes, sir, I can
So
assure you.
if they were baffled, you should have been baffled too, right?
They knew more than me, yes, sir.
Alright. And I'm gonna go to 12/14/35. And
It's been some time now. So is this years,
No, this
months,
is like,
or?
so we wanna say that, so I'm a clinical therapist, I've been trying to help her get help for a while now. We got her into a treatment center, right, we were able to get her into recovery, she did get a diagnosis, she was at Methodist Transplant Center, actually, she was ED for a year.
Okay, so, you had information that she was in a treatment center, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you failed to obtain treatment, information from the treatment center before you walked the warrant against these three gentlemen, correct?
Yes, sir, like I said yesterday, yes, sir.
And, you failed to get any information on the emergency detentions, correct?
Correct.
Alright.
How long ago
That was
this
about a year
started?
and a half ago. She was ED, the officer that responded was really good and supportive, and we were so thankful because that was like a breakthrough for us that we finally got her into a treatment center. She did good treatment, and then from there, we were able to get her into Starlight Recovery in Kerrville. She got help there. She stayed, I wish it would have been a little bit longer, but she stayed about 30 days there, right? And she got discharged into like an Oxford home, so she was trying to, so meantime she has 3 younger children, Lex is the oldest. 2 of them went with their biological father, and she kept the youngest.
Okay, so, Daisy Nieto told you that, she was in a treatment center and also Starlight Recovery in Kerrville and also at the Oxford home, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you did not make any effort to obtain records from Starlight Recovery or the Oxford home about, her behavior, did you?
I did not.
Alright. And I'm gonna go to about 12/15/57.
So about a year and a half ago
About a
was
year
when
and a
the
half.
issues really started?
Just started, I think we didn't find out like more of like the schizophrenic episodes and stuff like that until we started seeing her come around more.
Alright, so the family told you that they were seeing her engage in more schizophrenic episodes, correct?
Correct.
Alright, and then let's see what they tell you next.
And she had like paranoia,
Alright, and they advised you that she was paranoid, right?
Yes, sir.
hallucinations, auditory, tactile, like all kinds of stuff.
Alright, so they advised you she was having hallucinations, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you did not take any steps to include in the affidavit or your prosecution guide that she may have been a danger to the officer because of her hallucinations, did you?
I did not.
Alright,
Is there any physical violence with any of this?
So
she like I know her.
Mhm.
Whenever she would get questioned, she would automatically like react. You know what I mean? Like she would she was an aggressive person.
Okay.
alright, so at 12/16/16, Alexis Tovar tells you that Melissa Perez was an aggressive person, correct?
Correct.
And you understand that when officers are involved in a shooting and use deadly force, oftentimes the issue is how aggressive was the suspect, correct?
Correct.
And you did not include information in any prosecution guide or affidavit for arrest from the judge or the district attorney's office that you had information that Melissa was an aggressive person as told by her own family members.
Correct.
All right. Then I'm gonna go to 1643 if I can.
Yeah, so just if I, cause we discussed what we would say and what we wouldn't, obviously, like, we are very much pro-police, very right. With that said, you know, we wanna know for sure that,
Okay, and that was Antonio Tovar that was saying at 12/16/43 that the family was very much pro-police, correct?
Correct.
So would you agree with me that if the family members are telling you that they're very pro-police, there was no urgency by the family that arrest be made immediately, correct?
It's hard to say exactly what they were thinking, but I'm just assuming there's pro-police. I mean,
Okay. They did not ever tell you, we want these officers arrested immediately, correct?
they did not say that, no, sir.
Alright. And then I'm gonna go to, 12/16/59. Oops.
was it something, I'm not improper, I'm not saying it was. We're very supportive, we obviously know her condition, that's why there have been efforts in not only trying to get her help, but also at some point, like Child Protective Service involved. That was something initiated by the family because we had concern for the children, and, you know,
Alright. So Antonio Tovar is telling you about how, Melissa Perez family had to intervene with Melissa Perez by seeking out assistance from Child Protective Services, correct?
Correct.
And just to be sure, you failed to get any records from Child Protective Services so that the fact finder could understand before you obtained a warrant what was going on that night, correct?
I did not get any records, no, sir.
Alright. And I'm gonna go to 12/17/45.
We're coming in here, perfect, and doing what we need to do, regardless of how mom, right, we're here for both sides.
Alright, so would you agree with me that Kevin Dorsey at 12/17/45 said, right, we're here for both sides?
Yes, sir, yes.
Alright, and when he said we're here for both sides, would you agree with me that by being there for both sides, that requires being fair and impartial to my clients and to the family of Melissa Perez, correct?
I don't know exactly what it was in his mind, but you can assume that, yes, sir.
Well, you know that, to be there for both sides means being fair and impartial and unbiased for both viewpoints,
Just
correct?
being there for both sides of the, yes, sir.
Okay, and being fair and impartial means, not prejudging the evidence, right?
Correct.
And so, you wouldn't make the mistake of showing up to the scene and seeing all the shell casings and say, oh, this looks bad, and then only searching for evidence to confirm your belief that it was a bad shooting, right?
Yeah, I would not do that.
Alright. And then I'm gonna go to 12/18/34 if I can.
that's what I think we're gonna offer as much assistance as we can to get to the bottom of whatever we have to.
Did she, was she using any kind of drugs that you guys know?
I would see, prior to going to Starlight,
She was.
on
You guys know what kind of,
X-Men.
she was using meth? Okay.
Alright, so, from 12/18/34 to 12/18/41, the family advised you Perez was using methamphetamines.
Correct.
And you do understand that people who do use methamphetamines can be aggressive or irrational, correct?
Correct.
All right. And I'm gonna go to 1219.
That makes sense, because we were,
I had kids and I couldn't take them a lot.
Mhm.
Right.
So I think it was just kind of like, I had to,
Right.
I had problems. So,
All right, did you hear her say, that she had to take, that CPS had to investigate?
Yes, I
Okay. And I'm gonna go to 121945, 49. Whoops.
But I don't know that and then she started telling us, like, she was starting her voices again, right, like, shortly after. We got our psychiatrist, so she had a psychiatrist online, cause we had gone and stood in the Center for Healthcare Services like 3 times in a row, like every morning, and they were full. And so, as a family, we decided we were gonna support, the efforts in getting her to see a psychiatrist online, and we paid for that, and we wanted her. We always talked about it, we kept wanting more than she wants it for herself, so.
All right, and you would agree that Daisy Nieto told you at 121949 that Melissa Perez was hearing voices, correct?
correct.
And that she had to see a psychiatrist, correct?
Correct.
And that she received treatment at the Center for Healthcare Services?
Correct.
And you understand that to be part of University Hospital System, correct?
Yes, sir.
And as a detective, I'm sure that you oftentimes have obtained medical records from University Health Services, have you not?
I have in the past, yes, sir.
And so you understand that you can obtain those records by grand jury subpoena, correct?
Correct, sir.
And despite the misconception about HIPAA laws, that an exception to HIPAA is that you're permitted to obtain medical records that are part of a criminal investigation, correct?
Correct.
And so you could have obtained her medical records by grand jury subpoena, and you would have been able to obtain those records as an exception to HIPAA, correct?
Correct.
All right. But just to be sure, you did not do so, correct?
I did not.
All right, and let's go to 122151.
Counseling, I was gonna talk to her about that later, and just
Did
get
you-
some help.
Did you guys know about her roommate that she was?
No, we
sharing
just,
with?
so I
found out.
I spoke with her neighbor called me
Okay.
because I know she would call me, so
Mhm.
she said that they had taken in a homeless man.
Okay, the neighbor did, okay.
So I
Okay, so you agree with me that Daisy Nieto and Alexis Tovar, told you that, they did not know the full details that Melissa had taken in a homeless person, but in fact, the neighbor would call out concern for Melissa Perez, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go to 122227.
not that we're aware of.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was to her, like if they
Okay.
were friends, I don't
Okay.
really.
And she wasn't with anybody.
I'm gonna back up a
No,
little bit.
but she was,
I don't know, what's the neighbor's name?
I don't know, I just know because my little brother
Okay.
would play with her daughter.
Okay.
So, but, she just said that she had taken in a homeless guy. So, I don't know who he is, I don't know who.
All right, and Alexis is telling you about the homeless guy, correct?
Correct.
All right. And, the family's telling you that they don't know who he is or what relation, that person is to her, correct?
Correct.
All right. So as you understand it, you understand that to be abnormal behavior from the family, correct?
I mean, I don't know if that's, I just took it as she just took in somebody, I don't know
Alright.
all the details surrounding it.
So
I wouldn't say abnormal, but she just took somebody in.
would you agree that you understood the family was concerned about her behavior taking in a homeless guy, correct?
Yes, as anybody would be.
Alright. And why is it that anybody would?
But a stranger, someone homeless, we don't know who this guy is.
Right. Let me see if I can, go to 1223.
She was inheriting some money and people,
She was just not.
actually was checking on my mom, so she felt like somebody was the addict, somebody was in my mom's attic.
I'm pretty sure she was.
Alright, so, at 12:23:01, Alexis Tovar and Daisy Nieto are telling you that, Melissa Perez believed that there were people in her attic and that, she was very delusional, correct?
Yes.
Alright. And let's see.
So I don't know, in my head, I think she probably thought the fire alarm was attacking her or something.
Okay.
Alright, so she says, Alexis Tovar says at 12:23:17, she probably thought the fire alarm was attacking her or something. You would agree that was said?
Yes, sir.
And would you agree that someone who has the delusion that a fire alarm is attacking her, is not in a rational state of mind, correct?
I agree, yes, sir.
And you would agree that a person who has that delusional belief is not thinking logically, correct?
Correct.
And if someone's not thinking logically, you don't know, you're unable to predict what what they might do next, correct?
Definitely, it could be hard to predict their actions.
Alright, and so you couldn't predict why, Melissa Perez was doing what she was doing, correct?
Yes, it would be hard to predict, yes, sir.
Alright. Alright, let me see if I can go to 12:23:59.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had been arrested before, so she had more
has
than one run
Yeah.
with the police and whatnot, so.
She was actually arrested last month and,
She was in jail?
In jail, yeah, she was in jail.
Okay.
And I remember calling the downtown jail, asking her if they could put her on medicines, cause I knew she wasn't,
Mhm.
she was non-compliant at that point. And I think like 2 days later after my call, she was released, so I don't know, we did multiple things to try to help her,
So we don't know if she was taking medication
She was
currently?
No, she
No.
wasn't on TV.
She was on Respirol, I think it was like 75 mils.
Yeah, but she wasn't taking it.
Alright, and you heard, the family being concerned that Melissa Perez was not taking her medications, correct?
Correct.
And you didn't do any research on the failure to take, Risperdal, at all before you obtained the warrants, did you?
Yeah, correct.
Alright. And one of the things that I've noticed in the last 20 minutes, that you've said is you constantly refer to we. You realize that you've been using the phrase we?
I'm just seeing just me and the unit. That's it. That's why I
Okay.
say we.
So when you say we, are you saying that the unit failed to do this as well? Or are you saying that the unit made a decision and that you had no say? I'm a little bit confused of why you keep on using we.
It's just who I represent on the homicide unit, and that's why I keep saying we.
Okay, so are you suggesting in any shape, form, or fashion that you were receiving directions from supervisors?
No, sir, I was not.
Alright, so if there was a failure to do certain things, are you blaming your supervisors or are you accepting full responsibility for the
No,
failure?
it was, I didn't get the medical records, it's on me, sir.
Solely on you?
It's on me, yes, sir.
Alright. And your supervisors, are they experienced?
Yes, sir.
And, did you tell your supervisors that you had this information?
We discussed the meeting with, Ms. Tovar, yes, sir.
Okay. that's kind of vague, so let's see if we can flush that out. You've been telling us that in this video, you learned that she was paranoid, schizophrenic, had been ED, aggressive, not taking medication, hallucinating, so forth. Did you tell your supervisors all of these facts after you returned from the visit?
I don't remember verbatim exactly what we did in those conversations, but I would say it's probably likely that I did tell them stuff like that. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let's break that down two ways. And one way is, it seems like you're being very careful, and if you're being careful because you're unsure and don't recall and want to be accurate, I can respect that. But if you didn't tell them any of this information, we need to know. Did you tell them any of this information?
The first statement you said, I'm unsure, don't exactly recall. I would say most likely I did tell them, but I can't for sure say, but we discussed the meeting. I'm sure we would have went over like the history of medical, her not taking her medication. I'm sure we would have talked about that.
Okay. Let me pause for a minute and process what you told me. It seems to me that if you had told Sergeant Whitting this information, it's my understanding that he's a very experienced homicide investigator or sergeant or supervisor.
Well, he's no longer there, so.
Okay, was he experienced at the time?
He was there, he was a homicide sergeant, yes, sir.
Would you say that he's competent?
Yes, sir, very much.
Would you say that he has good judgment?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so if he had this information from you, you would agree that that would go to the totality of the circumstances as to whether the officers were justified in the use of force, correct?
Would have been part of the totality, yes, sir.
All right, and since your sergeant was aware of this information and since we know that you failed to gather this information, then you would agree that your sergeant did not tell you, slow down, take your time, let's not rush this warrant, let's do further investigation. Did that conversation ever take place?
I was not told to slow down or anything like that.
Okay, so if your sergeant failed to tell you to slow down, and it would have been wise to do so, is that a collective failure on the part of you and your sergeant?
I wanna make sure this, I'm clear, is like, I can't remember the exact conversation with Sergeant Whitaking, or the captain either. Like I said, we talked about this for sure. But, and I wasn't given any direction to slow down or anything.
All right. Now, I wanna make sure that I understand what you're telling us and what you're not telling us. And I gotta admit that I'm a little bit confused, and I'm hoping you can clarify this for me. On the one hand, you have told this jury that it was a collaborative effort, that everybody in the unit cooperated and shared information to make good choices and to review things thoroughly. Am I correct in saying that's what you told this jury?
No, you're correct, sir.
All right, so if I am correct that you're representing that you collectively shared information that was relevant with your supervisors and coworkers, and you brainstormed, where did you document that you informed your supervisors that Melissa Perez may have been the aggressor here and may have threatened serious bodily injury or death, and we need to take our time to assess the situation? Where is that documented?
I did not document that. We didn't
Okay.
meet, but we talked about it, but I did not document it, sir.
Okay. Would you agree that you did not document these conversations that you had with your team and provide that to the district attorney's office.
I did not document those individual meetings, no sir, I didn't.
Okay, so, there's an old movie where, there's an actor that he clones himself and he's warned not to make a copy of a copy because, copies degrade over time. You seen that
Yeah,
movie, you know what I'm talking?
Multiplicity, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiplicity. All right. So you agree that a copy of a copy, if it's imperfect, each subsequent copy gets degraded, right?
It could, yes sir.
All right. So if you omit information and you provide it to a decision maker, they have incomplete information, correct?
Correct.
All right. So if I understand correctly, what you're telling us is that you did not inform the DA's office about your conversation with your supervisors about Melissa Perez's mental health status, correct?
Honestly, I don't recall if I did or not, so
Okay.
I don't.
So if you don't recall, you would agree with me, you owed it to our clients and you owed it to the state of Texas to provide complete information to them about Melissa Perez's mental state, correct?
You're talking about with the DA's office?
Yes.
Yes, I mean, there were conversations, of course.
All right.
I just don't recall exact conversations.
But you agree that you've already testified that you did not document your conversations with your supervisors and your fellow detectives about her mental health. We agree that's
Right.
true.
We spoke about it, but I did not write it down, yes sir.
All right. And since you didn't write it down, that wasn't conveyed to the district attorney's office, correct?
Wasn't it, yes, I didn't write it down, yes sir.
All right. Now, all right, I'm gonna go to 12/27/27.
Now it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be analyzing everything.
Do you know anything about the manhunter or like who he was or just what?
Yeah, we have his information.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was just staying in one of the rooms, is all we know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he like for him?
No, he's fine. No, he's fine. He was an older gentleman.
Okay. You would agree with me that at 12/27/27, Daisy Nieto asked about Santos de Rosa, correct?
Correct.
And when you answered, he was just staying in one of the rooms. You had limited information about who he was and why he was there, correct?
Correct.
And Alexis Tovar did ask you, did she like hurt him, correct?
Yes.
And so when someone asks if their loved one hurt someone else, you would agree that's indicative of concern that their loved one might have harmed another.
Correct.
All right. And you had to assure her that he was not harmed.
Yes.
All right. So even her own family had the belief that it was possible that Melissa Perez may have harmed Santos de la Rosa, correct?
Correct.
So if her own family could have that belief that she might have harmed Santos de la Rosa, you would agree it would also be reasonable for these officers to share that same fear, correct?
Correct.
All right. All right.
No, I did not.
Alright. And to be sure, that would be part of the totality of the circumstances as well.
Yes, sir.
And you would agree that in this video that Alexis said that she had to separate herself from Melissa Perez, correct?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, so I wrote some notes here and I wanna make sure that I understand what your testimony is. You were shown Nathaniel Villalobos video at 1:49:57, and that's the moment before he stepped over the railing to try to unlock the door. Do you understand what time we're talking about?
Yes, the first time we went over the railing.
And so, just to be clear, when I asked you questions about multicam view, you said you had no idea what it was, right?
Yeah, yes, sir, I didn't know that.
Okay, so can we agree that at the time that Villalobos stepped over the railing, that you did not, on multicam view, look at all of the videos simultaneously and compare and contrast the various videos in a multicam view when Villalobos stepped over the railing?
No, I did not, sir. Yes.
Alright. And I wanna also, if I may, I hope this is still gonna work. Look at Maria Salinas' body camera at that time. I think this computer is almost as old as I am, Judge. In terms of how it's behaving. Alright. Okay, so we're at 1:50:47, and when you see Maria Salinas draw down on Melissa Perez, I want you to let me know so we can pause it, okay?
Yes, sir.
No, you don't. And we don't
Okay, so you can't come in.
You assaulted one of my officers?
No, I didn't. They assaulted me.
So, I'm gonna ask you one last time. Are you
They assaulted me.
gonna get your complicated?
They assaulted
Okay,
me.
that's my answer.
They assaulted
Hey,
me.
Salinas, what is that?
They assaulted me.
I think it's gonna be probably 40 more seconds, so let me try to advance it.
No, I don't. Shut up. Oh, you can't.
Alright, so I paused it at 1:51:51. You would agree with me that Nathaniel Villalobos, if you can stand up, sir, he's got some pretty wide shoulders, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how wide they are, if you can borrow some measuring tape.
I'm so glad you asked.
And, can we approach your?
Yes.
Alright. And, hope you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay. I'm measuring his shoulders, and it looks like it's 22 inches, right?
Yes, sir.
You agree it's 22
Yeah,
inches?
I can see it, sir. Yes, sir.
Alright, alright. Thank you so much. Sir. agree with me that he had no problem putting his 22-inch shoulder width in that gap in the window, correct?
Correct.
So, based upon the fact that he was able to put his shoulders in that window, and his shoulders are 22 inches, there was no obstruction that precluded him from making that entry, correct?
Not right there, no.
Alright. And you know for a fact that Melissa Perez in that 22-inch gap didn't have any obstructions, correct?
Right. She was able to get it on the TV pretty good.
Alright, so, in terms of obstructions, in that third of the window to the right, there was no obstructions in that last third, correct?
Correct. That last third, there was nothing.
Alright. Well, and I wanna get back to Maria drawing down. Alright, you didn't tell me to pause, but I saw it. Would you agree that at 151:58 she draws down?
Yes, she does. Yep.
And also, I don't know who this guy is, but he's got a taser on her as well, right?
Yes.
And we can see the green dot from his taser on her, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree that tasers have a green dot and a red dot, correct?
Correct.
And there's no idea whether the red dot is showing up anywhere on her body, correct?
Yes. Correct.
And so, since there's no confirmation that the green dot and the red dot are on Melissa Perez, it would be unwise to fire the taser at this point in time, correct?
Yeah, usually when I fire, I guess with you can make a good connection.
So you agree with what I asked you, right?
Yes, but you can't see if there's a red dot. I can't see behind
Alright.
the railing like that.
So, to the best of my recollection, she's drawn down on him for over a minute, but let's see if that's true. Alright, so it looks like at 152:22 that she puts her pistol in the low ready position, would you agree?
Yes, she had it below right, yes. Can't
So-
see it, but yes.
So, for at least 25 seconds, she aimed her pistol at Melissa Perez, correct?
Correct.
And in the 25 seconds that she was aiming her pistol at Melissa Perez, you would agree she was justified, correct?
Well, she was perceiving a threat, so that was her perception.
Alright, and if you believed that she was not justified, you would have walked a warrant on her too, right?
I wouldn't have walked the warrant, no, sir.
You wouldn't have walked a warrant?
No,
Why
sir, not just for pointing the gun at her, no, sir.
Okay, but you do understand that if you point a gun at someone without justification, that that's deadly conduct?
Right, yes, sir.
Alright,
It could be ag assault too, yes, sir.
so, and you didn't see any reason to file on her for deadly conduct or ag assault, correct?
No, sir, I did not.
Because you believed that, she was justified, correct?
At the time she perceived that she was coming close to her partner and she
Alright,
You're done.
and you relied upon her assertion that she had reasonable fear that Melissa Perez could swing a hammer, a deadly weapon, and strike Nathaniel Villalobos with that hammer, correct?
right.
And so that would make her conduct justified, correct?
I believe that at that moment, what she believed, she drew down to protect her partner. It was justified.
Alright. And let's see if we can see her raise the pistol again. I don't think she does. Let's go to, Ramos body worn camera. At the same time, I'm gonna represent to you that he drew down on her as well. Let's see if we can capture that. 150-59, we see Ramos moving from right to left,
Yes,
and that he's beginning to locate behind Maria Salinas.
correct.
And then he then starts to follow Sergeant Flores.
Yes, sir.
And he starts to return to the patio, to the front of the patio, correct?
Correct,
At 151-46.
correct.
And did you see someone jump back?
Yeah, I think, yes, sir.
And someone jumped back right before 151-56, correct?
Yes,
Alright. And we see at 151-59, Maria Salinas pointing the weapon at Melissa Perez, correct?
correct.
And right now, you would agree at 151-59, Robert Ramos is in front of the wall that forms the edge of the living room, correct?
Correct,
And the breezeway.
correct.
Alright, at 152-16, would you agree with me that what we see here is that Robert Ramos also draws down on Melissa Perez?
It looks like he does, yes, sir.
Alright, and I'll represent to you that if we were to look at other officers' body worn cameras looking at Robert Ramos, we would see that very clearly. You don't dispute that, do you?
No,
Alright. And you would agree with me that at 0152-24, we see what appears to be his right arm horizontally outstretched, right?
yes, sir.
And that would be consistent with him continuing to aim his pistol at Melissa Perez, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the time is 0152-46, and you would agree with me that 5 seconds beforehand, Nathaniel Lobos already jumped over the patio rail and is no longer on the patio, correct?
Correct,
But even though he's no longer on the patio, you would agree with me that Robert Ramos is still aiming his pistol at Melissa Perez, correct?
it looks like he could be.
Alright, and so, you do not assert that at 152-46, that Robert Ramos is involved in illegal conduct, do you?
No,
Alright. Now, I want to cover something that when you said, you heard the chick is crazy, you attributed that to Eleazar Alejandro, but I wanna be clear that now you admit that that was Vince Gomez, correct?
Yeah, I think somebody corrected me, I can't say for sure.
Okay, and so the reason you made that error, would you agree, is that you did not listen to all the body cameras and create a transcript and make sure, listening to the various body cameras, who was saying what, correct?
No, it was a mistake, I thought it was his voice, that's all.
But had you looked at the various body cameras, and in particular Vince Gomez's body camera, you would have known that had you looked at his body camera, Vince Gomez's body camera, that he made that statement, right?
Yeah, I looked at his body, maybe just didn't remember that part.
So, is it possible that it's not a question of whether you didn't remember that part, but you just simply did not hear that part?
Just might not have, there's things on there that I didn't hear, and I caught
Okay,
later.
so if you did not hear that part, then you admit that you did not listen to Vince Gomez's body camera in its entirety, correct?
No, I'm just saying, I listened to it, I might have just missed it, that's all.
Alright, so are you now walking back what you admitted earlier in the morning to this jury, is you did not look at all 10 body worn cameras from start to finish? Are you
No, sir,
walking
yeah,
that
but-
back?
No, I'm not, sir. I just missed it, that's all I'm saying, I missed that part.
Okay, so what I'm asking you, since you admitted there was 10 body cameras that you did not listen to start to finish, are you willing to admit that you never heard on Vince Gomez's body camera him making that statement?
I can't say I never heard it, cause I might have, I just didn't remember it.
Are you saying that you heard it and forgot it?
I guess I can say might have heard it and just forgot it.
Okay, so is that another assumption that you're making?
Just telling you that I just didn't remember him saying that, that's all.
You remember that one of the officers stated around 1:55 that she was ready to fight, correct?
Yes,
Alright, and would you agree with me that an officer making that statement would contribute to the totality of the circumstances, correct?
yeah, they were seeing her pattern of behavior, yes, sir.
Alright, and that statement was made approximately 7 to 8 minutes before the first shots were fired, correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
And you didn't put anywhere in your affidavit that you heard officers saying that she was ready to fight, correct?
I did not, sir.
And you would agree that she used some pretty profane language using the F word. She said, F you, shoot me, F you, fight me. She made those kinds of statements, correct?
Yes, I agree, yes, sir.
Alright, and would you agree that someone who says, shoot me or fight me is being very defiant with police officers?
Yes, sir, I agree.
And if someone was swinging a hammer at people making those kind of statements, you would be fearful of them, correct?
Of course.
Alright. But you didn't include that in the totality of the circumstances in any affidavit or prosecution guide, did you?
No, sir, I didn't.
And there were some questions about whether or not, I think the state asked you, whether Eleazar informed Sergeant Flores after he was standing in front of the patio rail and said, OS, S-H-I-T, we have to go in now in reference to Santos de la Rosa. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And you stated that you don't recall Eleazar telling Sergeant Flores that, right?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay. Would you agree with me that at 1:50:16, she's yelling in the living room outside the window, and Sergeant Flores is present when she's yelling, "You're shining the light on my elderly man." She made that statement, right?
I think so, yes, sir.
So, you would agree with me that Sergeant Flores had the ability to hear that, right?
Yes.
Right. And, there were several times that, she yelled out, statements about the elderly man that she was with while Sergeant Flores was there, correct?
Correct. She said, you're harassing us.
Yes, and she said that 3 times in the presence of Sergeant Flores, correct?
I believe she did. I think when he was talking to
So
her.
just to be clear, whether Eleazar told Sergeant Flores about the importance of protecting Santos de la Rosa, it didn't matter because Sergeant Flores heard that. You would agree?
Yes, Sergeant Flores was aware.
All right. Now, I would represent to you that if we were to listen to Officer Rojas' body-worn camera, that we would hear him say on at least 18 to 20 times, "Watch out, she's got a hammer. Be careful, she's got a hammer." That was said by Rojas numerous times, correct?
Yes.
And you did not put that anywhere in your prosecution guide, did you?
I have to look at it, but no, I don't recall.
Okay, well, do you wanna take time to look at it and see how many times you referenced hammer by Rojas?
I might have, it probably would have just been on when I detailed his body cam, but I could check, I'm not sure.
All right, well, why don't you check and see how many times you said Rojas used the word hammer?
I didn't put it in there, no sir.
You didn't put it in.
I didn't put it in the narrative.
Okay, so 18 times at the least, Rojas talked about the hammer and the danger of the hammer and the threats that Melissa Perez was making, and you did not put that in the prosecution guide, did you?
I did not.
And you didn't put that in the affidavit for arrest, did you?
No, sir.
All right. And you would agree with me that at 152:04, Maria Salinas said, "She has a hammer, she almost hit you, dude." And the dude is this gentleman, Nathaniel Villalobos, correct?
Correct.
All right. And when she drew down on Melissa Perez at around that time, and when Ramos drew down around that time, both these people drawing down on Melissa Perez was seen by Eleazar Alejandro per his body-worn camera, correct?
I think it was on his body worn camera, yes, sir.
And would you agree with me that you did not include that in your prosecution guide, that Eleazar observed Robert Ramos and Maria Salinas drawing down on Melissa Perez after she attempted to hit Nathaniel Villalobos with a hammer?
Yes, sir, I can agree with you on that.
All right. And would you agree with me that based upon what you're telling us now for the first time, you did not do follow-up questions of any witnesses to ask them why they perceived certain things that you could not see on body-worn camera?
Correct, I didn't.
All right. And so there was a question about whether they were able to see something, and it was just your opinion or assumption that there was no proximity. You could have asked the officers, why do we fail to see this on body-worn camera? You could have done that, right?
I could have, yes, sir.
But you didn't do that.
I did not, sir.
And so if Maria Salinas is not called by the state, there's no way for us to know, based upon your lack of investigation,
for her observation, yes, sir. Yeah, that's correct.
And let's see if we can pull this up.
You're not plugged in yet.
Well, I'm not plugging in. Oh, that would help. Alright, so at 1:37, did you see Maria Salinas indicate, actually, keep on getting the hammer, with her left hand that it was this close, using a pinch gesture?
Yes, sir.
And this is Eleazar's body worn camera.
Yes, sir.
And so would you agree with me that Eleazar is entitled to rely upon that for the totality of the circumstances when he made the decision to fire at 2:02:07?
You're allowed to rely on their officers, yes, sir.
Alright, and so you'd agree that if in fact Melissa Perez had missed hitting Nathaniel Lobos by this much, and Eleazar believed Maria Salinas, he would have good reason to believe that Melissa Perez was intent on using a hammer as a deadly weapon to strike Alfred Flores, correct?
As we saw, it really wasn't that close, but yeah, he's relying on that, yes, sir.
Okay, I know you're saying it wasn't that close, but would you agree with me that at the moment the hammer strikes, and given where Alfred Flores was standing by Edwin Rivera's video, that the distance could not have been more than 5 feet?
About 5 feet, yes, sir.
Okay, and you would agree that the glass broke, correct?
The glass did break, yes, sir.
And I know that you wanna tell this jury that she was never gonna let go of that hammer. I know that. But had she let go of the hammer, the window would not have stopped it from sailing into potentially Alfred Flores's head, who was defenseless, correct?
Correct, because she broke the window, yes, sir.
Alright, and had she thrown that and had it sail through the window and had it hit Alfred Flores in the head, that's a reasonable belief that she was intending to use the hammer as a deadly weapon to cause serious bodily injury or death to Alfred Flores, correct?
Yeah, so when she threw it, she could have caused serious bodily injury.
Alright, and in fact, when you've analyzed the shooting, Eleazar Alejandro Alejandro fired a fraction of a second, maybe one frame before Melissa Perez hit that window, correct?
Can't recall exactly, but it was really quick. Yes.
That first shot was probably you can see the muzzle flash, right?
Yes, I think so, yes, sir.
Alright, you see the muzzle flash of the first shot before it hits the window, right?
I believe so, yes.
So that's a fraction of a second, there's 30 frames per second, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it's 1 or 2 frames before the hammer hits the window, right?
Yes, sir.
So, we don't know whether the shot altered Melissa Perez's hold of the hammer or not, right?
We don't know. We're sitting there
And
saying-
so, if in fact Eleazar had fired that shot and it altered Melissa Perez's actions or reactions, because when a shot is fired, people have a startled response, right?
Of course.
And so if they have a startled response, we don't know if they grip an object that they were intending to throw, correct?
We just don't know, yes, sir. It's hard to
Alright.
say.
So by firing that shot, it's within the realm of probability that Eleazar saved Sergeant Flores' life because Melissa Perez never had the opportunity to throw the hammer, right?
I don't believe she was gonna throw it, so we just don't, we'll never know.
Okay, so if we never know, isn't that reasonable doubt?
We'll just never know, sir.
Okay, so the jury will never know whether she was gonna throw it or not, right?
Except, I mean, they'll decide based on what they see, yeah.
They can never
They'll
know.
decide.
They can never know,
We just
right?
don't, well, we just don't know, sir. She didn't throw it.
So
It has-
if you don't know, the jury can't know, correct?
Objection in going to province of the jury and what they know, they make their own decisions, the question's been asked and answered.
I'll allow that one and then you can move on.
All right. Answer the question. We know the answer.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Objection to the sidebar in the comments, sir. It was not the question you directed him to
Alright.
ask.
All right, you can ask the question.
All right. If you don't know what she would have done, if you don't know whether Eleazar altered her throw, there's no way anyone else could know, right?
That makes sense, yes, sir.
All right. And I meant to ask you this earlier, and I apologize for asking you late now, but you would agree with me, you did not gather the device audit trails until June of 2024, correct?
Yes, until I was asked, yes, sir.
All right. So you never looked at the device audit trails until a full year after the fact, correct?
Correct, sir, I did not.
Where are the batteries? Let's see, can we switch it to the overhead? I'm showing you, I'm just gonna show them sequentially from 100. Oops, this is defendant's exhibit 100. You recognize this that Kenji Uno gave this to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is, but I wanna make sure that I include all of the photographs that he provided to you. That's 103, that's from the interior of her apartment, correct?
Yes, sir.
And this is 104, which appears to be some kind of electrical box.
Yes, sir.
And 105, which is looks to be a fire alarm system, correct?
That's what I was thinking too, yes, sir.
Alright. And I'm not sure what the court's prior ruling was, but I believe that defendants exhibits 100 through 105 were conditionally admitted, and we would ask that they be fully admitted at this time.
You said 103 to 105?
100 to 105. They're the photographs that Kenji Uno provided to this detective.
Any objections to that?
And he testified he got those
Yes, sir.
no objections to states defense 100 to 105, Judge.
All right, those are admitted.
And would you agree with me that in those photographs, 100 to 105, that corroborates Melissa Perez's statement that she had cut batteries and taken batteries 13 times before?
Yes, it looks like it does, yes, sir.
All right, and in fact, she took a fire alarm panel once before, correct?
I think that's what Mr. Mill told me, yes, sir.
All right. And I believe at 154:15, we can hear on one of the body worn cameras that Salinas is telling a group of people that are meeting with Sergeant Flores that she came right at me with a hammer. You recall that?
Yes.
And that statement happened approximately 8 minutes before the first shots were fired, correct?
I don't know exactly when, but yes, it was around that time.
And you would agree with me that that type of statement is expressive of the state of mind of Officer Salinas, that this woman was dangerous 8 minutes before the first shots were fired.
I believe he thought she was dangerous, yes, sir.
All right, and so the statement that she was dangerous 8 minutes before the first shots were fired would be indicative of the totality of circumstances that all officers were aware of at the time the first shots were fired, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh. Let's go to State's Exhibit 193, which is your prosecution guide.
Yes, sir.
And I believe it's gonna be on page 56 and 57 that you have a breakdown of Officer Alejandro's body worn camera. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You put, for lack of a better phrase, I don't wanna call them bullet points, but you number sentences. And the sentences are numbered, and then you put a date and timestamp on it, correct?
Correct.
So, on the sentence that you numbered 14, you put a date and timestamp of 6/23/2023 at 2:02:07 hours, correct?
Yes.
And you claim that Officer Alejandro fired the first round of shots and was unable to see Melissa.
That's what I wrote there, yes, sir.
And in fact, that's not true, is it?
No, it's not, sir.
You agree that that's incorrect?
Yes, sir, I do agree.
Okay. And
might have been because I just couldn't see from the get a complete vantage from his camera. That might be why I put that, but it was worded incorrectly.
So, let's break that down. It appears to me that Captain Van Geffen, when he met with the family of Melissa Perez, was showing that moment in time of 2:02:07 and paused the video at that moment in time and told the family that
Judge, I'm gonna object when it's hearsay, this witness was not at that meeting that he's referencing, so it's outside his scope of knowledge as well.
he's an investigator, he can talk about what he relied upon.
Again, Judge, the question is posed in the meeting with the family with Melissa Perez. He's already testified that he was not at that meeting, improper with this witness.
Let me specifically hear what the question is.
All right, can I ask my client to step forward?
Yes.
All right. All right, so you would agree with me, this gentleman is 5 foot tall.
Yes, about that size.
All right, and if he's wearing his body camera as we saw on the photographs that the excellent CSIs took, which you admit were excellent CSIs, his body camera is on his pocket, his uniform pocket, correct?
Correct, right about mid area.
Can I have a measuring tape? Would you agree that the top of his head and where the camera would be was to be 20 inches below the top of his head?
Yes, sir.
And that it would be 16 inches below his eye level?
Yes, sir.
All right. And would you, sorry about that. And would you agree with me that the patio is 6 inches above the ground level, approximately?
I don't know for sure, but it's fine.
But he wasn't standing on the patio, he was standing on the dirt in front of the patio?
Yes, sir.
All right, so if the rail was 36 inches and he was standing 6 inches below the patio slab, if we add 6 to 36, it would be 42, and it'd be right where the camera was correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sure. Can he stand in front of the jury?
Yes.
All right. All right, so that rail was 36 inches, right? Above the patio.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
All right, and he was standing below the patio on the dirt, 6 inches. So if we add 6 inches to 36, 42 would be right where the camera is, right?
Yes, sir.
So what you saw on his camera was his camera, the lens was blocked by the rail, right?
Yes, sir.
But his head was actually above the rail, right?
Correct, sir.
So you made an incorrect assumption about what he could see, right?
No, I knew he can see. I think I was just saying the camera, I didn't word it correctly. It's just the camera didn't capture that. Didn't capture it clearly, that's all.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you agree that it was a mistake. But you repeated the same mistake in line 15, did you not?
Yeah, just same thing, yes, sir.
All right, and you claimed that the second round of shots that were fired, he was unable to see Melissa.
I meant the camera. Of course, I knew he could see her.
Okay, but someone reading this would not know that you meant the cameras, correct?
I'm willing to concede that I did not word it correctly. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you would agree with me that on this document, you have a cover sheet that says final investigative supplement for filing.
Yes, sir.
And the cover page has approving authorities. It has, in this order, Chief McManus, Karen Fox, Hector Salas, Kathleen Van Geffen, Catherine Frisky, Sergeant Villanueva, and the first signature appears on 8/10/2023, almost a month and 3 weeks after you got the warrants, correct?
Correct.
And William McManus signed it on 8/31/2023, right?
Correct.
Did any one of these people come to you and say, Detective Soto, you're saying some stuff in this report that's incorrect?
It was sent back for other things, but the way it is right now, that's the way it is.
Okay, so the final report that you submitted, was that approved in September?
Yes, sir. The final report, that's what they approved. Yes, sir.
Okay, my question is, after August 10th, 2023, or August 31st, 2023, did any one of these folks in your chain of command come to you and say you made a mistake in this prosecution guide, submit a supplemental report about your mistake?
No, sir.
Okay, so, did you ever submit a supplemental report and send it up to the chain of command saying, I made a mistake?
No, sir. I did not.
All right. So, would you agree with me that the audit trails and the device audit trails for Travis Thompson indicates that you did not access his video until November 6, 2023?
Yes, that's what the audit trail showed, yes. I did not pull it up on my computer, yes, sir.
All right. And you didn't clip his video until November 6th?
That's what the trail shows in this.
All right. Explain to the jury what it means to clip the video.
It just means like you get there's a way to actually like clip like 10, 20 seconds of a video, and you can actually save it like another separate video.
All right. And would you agree with me that you clipped it about 1 minute before the first shot was fired?
I don't know for sure, but that's what it shows.
All right. And you would agree with me that nowhere in your warrant affidavit and nowhere in your prosecution guide do you do a detailed analysis of what is seen in Travis Thompson's video in that 1 minute of time?
Correct, I did not.
And would you agree with me that in that 1 minute of time, we see Melissa Perez run from the TV at a start time of 2:02:04 to the couch, picks up the hammer, and charges at the window and swings the hammer, and the hammer strikes at 2:02:07.
At the glass, right? Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
it strikes the patio window.
The window, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
And despite what you put in your affidavit, she struck the patio window first, not the door, right?
Yes, the window, yes, sir.
So she charged towards the window, not the door, correct?
Correct.
And you don't make that clear in your affidavit, do you?
Can I look at it again just to verify?
You don't have a copy of it?
Yeah, I do. I have it. Yes, I put down patio doors.
Okay, so you made a mistake in your affidavit by saying that she charged to the door first, correct?
In my mind, I thought she was charged toward the door.
Okay,
'Cause
and
the second
so
part she
you made that mistake, is it because you had a problem processing information, or did you fail to review the videos properly? Which was it?
No, I reviewed it, I just made a mistake, sir, that's all I can say.
Okay, did you make that mistake because you got bum information from one of your colleagues and you just relied upon what your colleagues told you and you didn't verify? I really need to know.
No, I'm just telling you, I made a mistake, that's it, sir, in the wording.
Okay, I know you made a mistake,
Yes.
but we're trying to figure out here, for these folks, why that mistake was made, because that's important.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell us why that mistake was made?
Yes, sir, I just made a mistake, that's all I can tell you, sir, I don't know how you want me to tell you, I'm just telling you I made a mistake.
So there's no way to recreate by looking at any documentation, any notes, talking to any witness, why you made that mistake?
No,
Is
sir,
there?
there's not.
All right. All right. One of the things that I did last night, I did a word search of your prosecution guide. And there's language in your testimony yesterday that I find unusual. You did not say that you didn't use the word barricade at all in your prosecution guide. Would you agree with that?
If you're saying so, I can't, I don't think I did, I'm not sure, sir.
All right. You did not use tactical retreat at all in your prosecution guide, did you?
No, I don't believe so, no, sir.
There's a lot of phrases in your testimony that were never mentioned in your prosecution guide. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And are you willing to agree with me that those phrases were never used by anyone in the department except for the Public Information Office?
I don't know, sir. I'm not sure.
All right. So, one of the things that you also talked about was what was the driving force, what was the immediacy? You would agree with me that those phrases were never used in your prosecution guide, correct?
Correct.
They were never used in your affidavit for warrant, correct?
It was not.
But those phrases were used by the public information officers and by IA some 5 months later, correct?
I'm not sure, I don't recall that.
All right, so do you know why IA would use the words that you used in your testimony yesterday, 5 months after the fact?
I don't know, you have to ask them, sir, I don't know.
All right, so would you agree with me that it would have been improper for you to share information with IA about this case?
No, of course.
All right, so there's no reason why you should use the same language that IA did?
I never discussed that with anybody from my, yes, sir.
All right, so just want to be sure that you agree that it's necessary to do a complete thorough investigation of all officer-involved shootings, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that would include watching all the videos recorded by the officers that were immediately in the area where the critical incident took place.
Yes, sir.
And we know that you didn't do that start to finish, right?
I did not, especially that day, no, sir.
And you can't even tell us, all the videos that you watched, correct?
I can't, sir. I didn't notate it.
And, if I were to represent to you that if we go through all of your user audit trails and the device audit trails and do a word search for the word restricted, in fact, there's a couple of videos that you never restricted.
It could be possible, sir. I mean, I was told to restrict them. Maybe I didn't, cause I know there's two different things like OIS team and there's another abbreviation they use. I might have used the incorrect one and didn't get, or maybe one came in later and I just didn't restrict it. It's possible.
Alright. And on many of the videos, you didn't restrict them until July 6th, correct?
It's possible, sir. It's possible.
And on the remaining videos that you either failed to restrict, on the remaining videos, and we're excluding those that you failed to restrict, or the ones that were restricted July 6th. On the remaining videos, the earliest you restricted access was after 10 o'clock that morning, correct?
I don't know for sure, sir.
Alright, can you agree with me that all of the witness statements of the officers were finished before 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I believe so, yes, sir.
Alright, and Nathan Villalobos had an Axon login, correct?
Yes,
Eleazar Alejandro had an Axon login, correct?
correct,
Alfred Flores had an Axon login, correct?
correct.
And before you restricted the videos, they had the ability to log into their own Axon account to watch the videos, correct?
Yes,
Alright, and they could have gone to any SAPD computer that you permitted them to go to, pull up the Axon webpage, do a sign in with their account name and so forth, and view the videos, correct?
they could have, cause I hadn't restricted them.
Alright, and you never told them take as much time as you need to not only view your own videos, but everyone else's video. You didn't tell them that, did you?
I did not.
And that has changed since this incident, has it not?
As far as like letting them,
Look at all the videos.
yes, I believe it has.
And the reason it's changed is because before this incident happened, the Attorney General for the state of Texas said that under Texas Occupation Code 1701.655 that the officers who participated in a body worn camera before being compelled to make a statement must have the opportunity to review all the videos of the incident, not just their own videos, but everyone who was present. You know that's true, correct?
I've been told that, yes, sir.
Alright, but that was not allowed on this particular date.
I just didn't tell them. We pulled up theirs.
Okay, but that was not allowed on this particular date.
I'm not sure if it was allowed. You mean by like a department policy?
Was anyone told that they had the right to review all of the videos?
I would say, I'm not sure what the others were told. I didn't say that, no, sir.
Okay, so since you didn't say that, you can't say whether any other detective in your team or any other supervisor in the officer involved shooting told the officers, look at all the videos before you give a statement.
You're correct, sir. I cannot say that.
And would you agree with me that had they had the opportunity to review all the videos, many of the things that you have forgotten in terms of the totality of the circumstances, they would have had the opportunity to see.
They could have seen, yes, sir.
And that would have assisted them in saying, you know what, at the time I fired, I was justified because I was aware of this information, and this information. And sometimes when you look at your own body worn camera, you don't see everything because of the angle, right?
Correct.
So, by not permitting them to review all the body worn cameras to refresh their memory, they were unable to see every event that could have assisted them in writing a better statement to to explain why their conduct was justified, correct?
I can't speak for the other officers. I know I did not tell that to Officer Alejandro.
All right. All right. I believe you made a statement that, and help me out here because you made a statement about a female officer. And if I understand correctly, you said that that you didn't believe that a female officer would have fired their weapon, and it seems as if you're saying that females act differently than males. Did I hear that correctly or incorrectly?
No, that was incorrect, sir. I never made an assumption like that. No, sir.
Okay, so if a female is in danger, a male equally would have a reason to be in danger. A female officer, a male officer would also.
Can you repeat that again? I'm confused on that.
All right. And I'm glad you said that because I need to think about how to ask that
Okay.
as a better question, and I think I'm getting a little bit tired, but let me see if I can ask it better.
Okay.
You would agree that if a male and female are equal in terms of reasonableness, the fact that one's a male and one's a female should make no difference in perceived threat.
I can agree with that, yes, sir.
All right, just wanna be sure that
Yeah.
that's what that's what we're dealing with. Now, it's my understanding that you had several days, several weeks to analyze Rojas' body worn camera, Eleazar's body worn camera, and Daniel Villalobos' body worn camera, and Sergeant Alfredo Flores' body worn camera.
Yes, sir.
And even though you had several weeks to look at all those body worn cameras, you agree in the safety of your office, without any stress, without anyone threatening you, you missed a lot of important information, didn't you?
There was some stuff I did not document, yes, sir.
All right, and it was important, right?
Yes, sir.
And you weren't under stress, right?
Of course not, no, sir.
And you weren't being asked to make a split-second decision that was a matter of life and death, right?
Of course not.
And so you can understand that if an officer perceiving danger has to make a split-second life and death situation, they may not have perfect information.
Yeah, everything's moving so quickly, yes, sir.
Now, we know that you did not review all of the body worn cameras start to finish based upon your testimony.
Correct.
Did you believe it was unnecessary for you to do that because you had already made up your mind what you were dealing with, because you already had probable cause? Is that what you're telling us?
No, sir, I just didn't watch all of them start to finish. That's it.
Okay. So the fact that there was probable cause or no probable cause or insufficient information for probable cause, you just didn't look at every video start to finish, did you?
Correct, I did not.
All right. Now, you would agree with me that your opinion nowhere plays a role in Chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code, does it?
My opinion?
Yes.
What do you mean? Like,
Well, your assumptions don't determine how to interpret Chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code. Would you agree?
Your Honor, I'm gonna object again. I think counsel's approaching what would be the province of the jury, chapter 9 offenses.
I'll sustain.
You would agree with me that nothing in Chapter 9 says that if you don't make the perfect tactical choice, that you lose your justification.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, he's referencing what is in the province of the jury. It's an argument an inappropriate question
in the
for
penal
this
code.
witness.
It's in the penal code.
I'll sustain.
Have you read chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code?
Yes, I have before, yes, sir.
All right. And you would agree with me that in chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code, nowhere is the word tactics used in chapter 9 of the Texas Penal Code.
I can't say for sure, I don't recall verbatim, I'm sorry, sir.
All right. So if you don't recall whether tactics is used, would you agree with me that you didn't analyze chapter 9 based upon tactics?
I looked at it, I just can't remember if there's any word, the word tactics in there, sir.
All right. You did take the TCO course mandated by state law in how to handle digital media evidence. You understand there's a state law that mandates that you take a TCO course on handling digital media evidence.
I don't remember, sir, I'm sorry.
All right. You remember that the San Antonio Police Department, the San Antonio Academy, that then Sergeant Leslie Carrillo, now Captain Carrillo, taught the course mandated by TCO.
It's definitely a possibility, sir, yes, sir.
All right, but you don't remember it.
I just don't remember it right now, the actual course, I'm sorry, sir.
You don't remember what you were taught?
Not offhand, no, sir.
Would you agree with me that over the years you've had training by representatives from the Axon Corporation about how to document comments?
I did not, sir, no.
All right. You do understand there's a comment section in the Axon program?
Yes, sir, I do know that, yes, sir.
And just so the jury understands, you don't see videos the way we see them here in court. You actually see it on a web-based program that has different boxes, different dialogues, different abilities to do things, and a place where you can enter comments, correct?
Correct,
And to enter bookmarks, correct?
correct.
And so if you review something for a particular purpose, you can make a comment as to what is seen while you're streaming that particular segment of video, correct?
You can, yes.
And you would agree with me that no one in the officer involved shooting team entered any comments on any Axon video that was viewed, correct?
I don't know about any of the videos, but I know the ones I had looked at, there's a few I recently looked at, and I didn't put any notes on there. I did see, I think the only one that actually entered anything was Captain, he actually entered on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd agree with me that given what we saw on the body worn cameras, that Melissa Perez said that she picked up a man needing medical attention, and that was Santos de la Rosa.
Yes, sir.
And you would agree that the family members told you that they had concern for the safety of that man, correct?
I would agree, yes, sir.
And you would agree with me that they told you that she had aggressive tendencies, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you agree with me that they indicated to you that she had prior psychiatric issues with schizophrenia and paranoia?
You know, I'm gonna object, it's been asked and answered.
I'm connecting it up to what I'm gonna ask.
Okay, you got a couple minutes left.
All right. And you would agree with me that under those circumstances, it would be unreasonable for police to leave that man in the care of Melissa Perez. You would agree?
I would have liked to, they could have explored some ways to maybe possibly get him out, yes.
All right. Here, I see that it's noon.
All right, members of the jury, it's 12 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and break for the day. Remember the instructions I've given you, they're going to apply till the end of the trial. See you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m.
All right.